King Corn beats be killing shit.
We was powers on this earth once, and we was all about the mirth once. Idol worship, murder like the first of the month. Hit a nigga with the bick like he need a light. That's what you do when you on fourth, or else you got a punt. But we ain't needed when we cry for Egypt flesh, nah. So it's Egypt that we got, and we hella mad. These crackers soaring off our shoulders like some hella pads. They see our sweat, but they don't feel us like we holograms. I'll be damned, another black man shot again.
Hey, shalom, shalom, family. Peace and blessings to everybody. Lord willing, everybody's having a pretty good day so far. I'm doing all right myself. All praise to the Heavenly Father for that. Of course, without Him, I am nothing. We all are nothing without Him, right? And the sooner we recognize and love Him and love each other, right, the same way He loved us, right, then we'll be somewhere, right? Then we'll have something, all right? So y'all remember that. But again, peace and blessings to everybody. Much love. I'm your brother Azariah of Fire God Ministries. Appreciate everybody tapping in and chopping it up with us this afternoon. All right. Definitely appreciate y'all. Everybody sliding through. I want to, get the particulars out the way here in the beginning so that we can go ahead and get into the crust of the lesson. All right. So that we can talk about a few things. All right. First, we got to say, of course, like, share, and subscribe. Do that right now. If you're watching live right now, hit the like button. All right. Make sure you subscribe. All right. Make sure that you're sharing this. All right. As I said before, man, share it with your aunties, with your uncles. All right. With your pops, with your grandfather, with your moms, your grandma, your close cousins. All right. Because this is important. All right. Everything that we talk about is important. Maybe some more than others. All right. But definitely here, to be ministers, which is serving some of you. We go through the labor, all of the brothers who, tirelessly bring out the work here on in the social media, internet streets, and on the actual streets too. All right. We sharing this message wherever we go because it's on our hearts, right? And we love our people. All right. And again, appreciate everybody coming through. Right. Oh, and if I hadn't said it, man, let me give all praise again to the Most High, which I've already said it, but I'm gonna say it again. Right. All praise to the Most High. Right. All praise to the Father. I'm gonna give about another minute or so for everybody to go ahead and get tapped in with us to give everybody a chance to share. I know for my brothers and sisters who are on the West Coast, it is, early afternoon for y'all, because I'm on the East Coast, as y'all know, in Jacksonville. Excuse me. So I'm on the East Coast in Jacksonville. I know it's 3 p.m. there. So we'll give a few minutes. All right, Lord willing, those who are gonna tap in with us live, I'll go ahead and tap in. And we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. We got some things to talk about as it pertains to the land of Israel, right? The promised land, right? As we see in the scriptures, that it's called the land that flows with milk and honey. All right. So we're going to take a look at a few things as it pertains to the land of Israel, and see where that takes us. All right. So we see the title Israel, the one pit that the Most High keeps his eye on, right? Absolutely. All right. It is the one pit that the Most High keeps his eye on. All right. And we're going to talk about that, there is no reason, so to speak, it just is what it is. You know what I mean? It's because it's the best piece of land. You know what I mean? The Most High promised it to the people that he chose and who he ultimately wanted to dwell in that land. Okay, although others have dwelt in that land. All right. So We're about to go ahead and get started. I gave y'all actually 2 minutes to get tapped in with us. But again, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, before we get into it, let me throw this up here. Right, if you are interested in joining the ministry, you know, are you looking for brothers and sisters to affiliate with? Definitely tap in with us. Definitely, we're not a large body, you know, and we're not trying to be a large body. This ain't a mega church, and I'm not Drewski. All right, man, oh man, Christianity is finished for real, man. But I got a Lord willing, I'm gonna do some commentary on on the comedian known as Drewski, and his recent antics, exploits, as they say at the recent BET Awards. So we're gonna get into that. All right, but not this evening. All right, we got something else to cover this evening, as y'all know. All right, but again, if you are interested in the ministry, again, to tap in with the body, tap in with us at firegodclassroom@gmail. Not only do we have, I do these lessons. You know, you have the brother Ash doing his lessons. We also have Bible study on Sundays. Everybody definitely welcome to tap in with that as well. That's every Sunday. I believe that's 12 p.m. Pacific time, and it'll be 2 p.m. East Coast. All right, or Eastern Standard Time. All right. And if you want to support the ministry, here's the Cash App. All right, it's definitely needed. We're not, begging, as they say. This is not a Christian church. You ain't got to pay your tithes to me. Okay. All right. But if you want to support the ministry and help brothers out as we endeavor and labor to do the work of the Heavenly Father, is definitely much appreciated. And you see the Cash App right there, which is Fire God Camp 12. All right. I'm gonna leave it out for another minute, but we're about to go ahead and get into it. All right. We're getting ready to go ahead and get into it. Again, hit the like button. All right. Make sure you like, share it, and subscribe. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe now. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button right now. All right. And we're going to go ahead and take this banner down first. Take this down. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's start this video.
Aside from the US, the bloodthirsty Israeli barbarians have now also taken over the UK and Australia. We saw this week how Australia's Foreign Minister, Penny Wong, further disgraced herself in the parliament. Watch her encounter with Green Party's Mehreen Faruqi, who asked why the Australian government was not ending its military cooperation with the settler colony even after.
I like how this individual right here, this fella calls the people who currently occupy the land, he calls them the settler colony, which they are, because initially that's what they were to do. They were to settle. They had certain lands. You can look it up online in your spare time. The originally how Israel was parted after the Balfour Accords, after World War II, when the majority of the European Ashkenazi so-called Jews migrated into the land of Israel, which they were already buying up land, swaths of land in the land of Israel anyway. But it was initially a settler colony. It was just for them to have a small colony there, right? It was known as Palestine. All right. Before I let the brother continue, I do want to bring out the scripture in reference to the title, One Pit. Let's take a look at this in Ezra's real quick, and then we're going to come back and continue to see with this gentleman and what's going on in the Australian Parliament as it pertains to, as they call it, the settler colony over there in the land of Israel. All right. So I'm gonna have to stop this. Let me share my screen real quick. Another screen. Let's take a look at this real quick. All right, this is Second Ezra's chapter 5, and we're going to start at verse number 22, family. All right. And I think that's big enough for everybody. I'm not going to adjust that, right? And it says, my soul recovered the spirit of understanding, and I began to talk with the Most High again and said, O Lord, that bearest rule over every wood of the earth, right? And of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thou one holy vine, right? And when it was referring to the trees, is a metaphor for the people, right? And then the vine that comes from that tree being, the tree being the people and the peoples, right? Many nations, but he chose one particular tree, which in turn he's saying here one vine, right? Only one vine, which is Israel, right? That particular people, the Israelites, right? We're not talking about that right now in particularly, right? Let's look at the next verse, verse 24. And it says, and of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen only one pit, right? And the fact that the Most High only chose one people, one holy vine. I mean, you see that echo in Romans. We see it plenty of places where we know who the Most High chose, who his people is. So we don't have to beat a dead horse, so to speak. All right. And again, let's read verse 24. It said, all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee only one pit, right? One pit, right? The pit, this represents the land of Israel. All right. That is the land that he chose, right? And of all of the flowers thereof, one lily, right? That's why you see also the lily work being commanded to be put in the ancient temple. All right. So we see the lily work, which most people associate with the star or shield of David, right? But that is actually a lily. All right. And that's not the only way that shape occurs. It is a shape that hexagon occurs naturally in nature. All right. So let's get back to the video. All right. I'm going to read this verse 25 real quick, but let's read 24 and 25, and we're going to get back to the video. And of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit, Israel, and of all of the flowers thereof, only one lily. All right, and just talked about that. And of all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled thee one river, right? And that's Jordan River. All right. And of all the builded cities, thou hast hollowed Zion unto thyself. All right. See that? Of all the holy cities, and particularly Jerusalem. All right. Israel, he keeps his eye on. That's his one pit. And that major city inside of his pit be Zion, which is talking about Jerusalem. All right. Jerusalem. All right. So now let's get back to the video and let's listen to what this individual was saying. All right. As he talks about again, as he calls it, these are not my words. These are his words, right? That guy's words, right? That guy's words, as he talked about the settler colony. Just fire, right? All praises to the Most High. So let's continue.
After the UN Inquiry Commission found that Israel was committing a genocide in Gaza. This disgraceful politician called Wong refused.
1 second. Let's hear that one more time. Not my words. I'm just letting it play. Oh, and again, somebody type fair use. I don't want to get a copyright strike. By the way, somebody, if you could type fair use for me in the chat. If you could, again, fair use. Just my thoughts and comments on this content right here. All right. But let's hear it again. These are not my words. All right. I'm gonna type fair use in the chat myself. All right. I'll make sure we put fair use in the comments too. All right. Here we go. All right. Let's continue.
after the UN Inquiry Commission found that Israel was committing a genocide.
He said the UN, I'm going to play a portion of the findings too here in a little bit, right? What they found, what the UN found about this, about Israel, right? Are the Israelis, aka the settler colony. All right, let's continue.
In Gaza. This disgraceful politician called Wong refused to condemn Israel. In my opinion, there should be a law to stop these monsters from being anywhere close to children. I would be extremely worried if this disgraceful.
Y'all heard that? He said it should be a law passed to keep, he's talking about the settler colony, aka the Israelis, from being near children. And we're going to see that, you know, and that's the reason why I really wanted to talk about this lesson. The Most High keeps his eye on this one pit. And you have to understand, family, that he is sorely displeased at what he sees. He is. He's not happy with what's going on in his land, the one pit that he chose, right? And the one city that's builded, Zion, aka Jerusalem, the city of peace, right? That he cares about. What's going on, right? The treatment of people, the genocide that's occurring in Gaza, right? And some people may try to misconstrue it as if I'm only saying that the Most High cares because it's happened in the land of Israel. That is the primary reason he cares, in my opinion. But he also cares on, as people would say, the human level, right? And I'm going to demonstrate that too, why he cares, you know. Certain things the Most High just does not deal with. But let's continue. Say what these people have to say.
Woman is found to be in the close proximity of my children. People like Wong are no less danger to children than those committing Holocaust in Gaza.
15-year-old killed carrying a white flag. A 3-year-old shot dead in the arms of his father just last Sunday. More than 20,000 children dead. It is a wonder that you can look parents in the eye while Australia trades parts and weapons with the perpetrators of.
If again, if y'all not aware, this is in the Australian Parliament, where she is a member of their parliament, and she's speaking out against her country's how they're dealing with what some perceive as a genocide. I'm not going to use the H word, right? As what's occurring in Gaza and extended now into Lebanon, into southern Lebanon. All right. Let's continue.
These horrors. A new independent children.
Let it play again.
People like Wong are no less danger to children than those committing Holocaust in Gaza.
15-year-old killed carrying a white flag. A 3-year-old shot dead in the arms of his father just last Sunday. More than 20,000 children dead. It is a wonder that you can look parents in the eye while Australia trades parts and weapons with the perpetrators of these horrors. A new independent UN report has found.
That's a shame. 20,000 children unalived in Gaza. You think the Most High don't care? Gotta be kidding me, man. Right? And as she's saying, a 15-year-old boy waving the white flag, obviously not a danger, just unalive by this settler colony. Young boy, 5 years old, I believe she said. And then they continue to trade weapons. She's speaking of her country, Australia, with the people doing it, although they claim to be against it. The hypocrisy. Hey, man, hit the like button, family. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell everybody they should be tapped in, right? You should care about this right here. All right? this should resonate with you on multiple levels. Let's continue. Let's let this lady continue to speak.
Israel consistently, directly, and intensely in the eye, while Australia trades parts and weapons with the perpetrators of these horrors. A new independent UN report has found Israel consistently, directly, and intentionally targeted individuals.
Y'all see that? Like I said, I'm gonna play portions of some of the findings in this United Nations report about what the settler colony, aka the Israelis, are doing, right? What they've been doing in their campaign in Gaza, right? And now, like as I said, extended to southern Lebanon.
Children across Gaza. It documents the use of torture, inhumane and degrading treatment, including sexual and gender-based violence against Palestinian children. Children, Minister. Children used as target practice by Israeli soldiers. Minister, why?
I'm not going to keep on. I have a lot to get to, so I'm going to try not to pause as much, but I like how this woman here, I believe she's probably Palestinian. I won't be presumptuous, I'm not sure, but I believe she is. How she doubles down on the children, against children, right? There are some things that are just universally understood to be barbaric. But obviously, there are a group of people on this earth who do not seem to care about that. Let's continue.
I want the Albanese government end the arms trade and impose comprehensive sanctions on Israel, just like we do against Russia.
No child should be targeted. Australia condemns the targeting of children. We have consistently done so.
Minister, why won't you?
Did she seem convincing to you? I'm gonna rewind that letter. I rewind it a little bit. Let's let that play again. It didn't seem convincing to me. Let's go.
Against Russia.
No child should be targeted. Australia condemns the targeting of children. We have.
No children should be targeted. Israel condemns the targeting of children. Oh Lord, man. Does it seem to y'all as if that woman right there, that she really cares? Australia condemns the targeting of children. No, it doesn't seem, it's like, I mean, obviously she's probably reading a pre-prepared statement, man, but there's no energy, no feeling behind it. It's very generic, as if she doesn't really care. Let's continue.
Consistently done so.
Minister, why won't you admit that Israel is committing a genocide and call it for what it is? Call it a genocide.
The UN Security Council will be discussing later today the rising violence against children in situations of armed conflict, and Australia will make a contribution.
Why won't she call it what it is? See, that is the one major problem, in this world, and most people are docile as it pertains to things. But those who have an ear to ear, who are tapped into what's going on in our world, see the signs, right? But why won't she call it what it is? Right? Because obviously, because she has no real outrage. It's all phony, fake, and it's all about multiple factors. One main factor is obviously money. If you want to know what's behind it, look to the money. As she said, they're selling weapons to them. All right.
The political party consistently seeks to misrepresent the government's position and actions. The government has spoken many times about Australia's view of what is happening and what has happened in Gaza and in the West Bank, and we have taken action, including the sanctioning of 2 senior ministers in the Netanyahu government for human.
Oh, boy, they sanctioned them. Meanwhile, as many as 20,000 children, according to the UN report, have been unalived, and in their parliament, their body, as the speaker, the lady who was speaking before, said, you won't call it what it is, which is a genocide. Not my words, theirs. All right, but I do agree with the previous speaker's sentiment. All right, let's continue.
Human rights abuses in coordination with the United Kingdom, Canada and other partners.
In the UK, Lloyds Bank is facing widespread condemnation.
So that's the end of that portion right there. I'm going to queue up another video where I play. I'm going to play some of the UN's findings on what's going on in the conflict or so-called war in Gaza, what they found as it pertains to human rights abuses, how they're waging this campaign there. We'll have that. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. That's a pretty lengthy video, so I'm gonna try not to talk too much. But before we get into that, as she said, 20,000 children, right? Unalive, gross mistreatment, sex abuse, right? Children as young as like small toddlers being abused based on their gender, and things of that nature, as y'all heard in the video. And the Most High, he does not like that. He in particular does not like that going on in the land of Israel, in the one pit that he chose. So let's take a look at that as it pertains to the scriptures. Let's see what one of the prophets had to say about that, his writings on that. We're going to take a look at Ezra real quick. So let me share my screen, family. And again, make sure y'all like, sharing, and subscribing too. All right. So let me get a second. Ezra's. All right, I got to go to chapter 12. No, excuse me. Wisdom of Solomon. My apologies, family. We're going to take a look at Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12. Let's start at verse 1. All right. So this is the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 1. All right. Let's read something, right? It says, For thine uncorruptible spirit is in all things. Therefore, chastenest thou them by little and little that offended, and warnest them by putting them in remembrance wherein thou have offended, that leaving their wickedness they may believe on thee, O Lord. Right? Absolutely. Israel had to leave that wickedness that they learned in the land of Egypt under their oppressor. They had to leave that behind, similar to what the children of elect are going to have to do, right? You're going to have to shed that old, and leave all of that behind, you know what I mean? To walk in the presence of the Most High, right? And, if you be in that number, gain that immortality, all right? And you know what I'm going to do? I want to read through this in the GNT. It's a little bit plainer of a message. So let me hold on 1 second. I have it right here in the GNT. I was reading a bit earlier. I thought it was very plain how it was laid out. So we'll take a look at that. We're reading that in the KJV. Let's take a look here. Oh man, and I see I'm gonna have to make this screen a bit bigger too. Let's make this bigger. All right, that should be better right there. I hope, family. Maybe make it a little bit bigger than that. Just a little bit bigger. All right. Okay. All right. Hey, shout out to my brother Ash. All praise to the Most High, man. Appreciate you coming through. Hey, peace to Tracy Ki Train. Yeah, all praises to the Most High. right? In the name of his only begotten son, right? Hamashiach, all praise the Most High Yahweh, right? All praise to Yah. All right, but let's go ahead. Let's read this. All right, it says, your immortal spirit is in every one of them, and so ye gently corrected those who sin against you. You remind them of what they are doing and warn them about it, so that they may abandon their evil thoughts and put their trust in you, O Lord. All right, for the Israelites, sorry, for Israel, all right, in context here. All right, you hated the people who lived in your holy land long ago because they did horrible things. You hated them who lived in your holy land long ago because they did horrible things. Now, in context, he's talking about the Canaanites, and you see the sins of the Canaanites. But where do we see this at earlier? Let's take a look real quick, right? Hold on. Let's take a look at Genesis chapter 15. Let me share my other screen. Genesis 15. Real quick, fam. I'm trying to take too long to get to this other video too. All right, this is Genesis 15. Let's jump down to verse 12. It says, and when the sun was going down, this is the vision that Abraham is getting. All right. It says, and when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horrible great darkness fell upon him. And it was said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed will be strangers in the land that is not theirs, and thou shalt serve them, and they shall afflict them for 400 years. That's them in the land of Egypt, right? Our ancestors. And also that nation whom they shall serve, I will judge, and afterward they will come out with great substance. That's the spoil of them coming out. Hey, give us that. Yeah, we'll get you back. No, they ain't getting none of that back, right? And we came out with great substance from spoiling the Egyptians, right? And thou shalt go to thy father in peace, talking about Abraham, and thou shalt be buried at a great old age. But in the fourth generation, thou shalt come hither again. They shall come hither again. He's talking about the Israelite will come to the land where Abram's currently at. He's in the land of Canaan, right? He says, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet filled. All right, so what we're reading about in Wisdom of Solomon is the iniquity of said Amorites who are Canaanites. Let's take a look at who the Amorites are real quick, family. Right, Amorite, a sayer. That's prevalent because there's nothing new under the sun, as we see in Ecclesiastes. I was going to bring that out, but I'm just going to quote it for time's sake. There's nothing new under the sun. What's going on in the land of of Israel now, the Most High's one pit, is what has went on before. And that's why the Most High are going to get those people up out of there. All right. It says, one of the peoples of East Canaan beyond Jordan, deposed by the Israelites incursion from Egypt, right? So as we're talking about the Israelites coming out of Egypt into the land of Canaan, right? These are the people who were here. Amorite, one of the Canaanite tribes, right? So this is given, we see the specific people, the Amorites who were there. All right. So the iniquity, he said that after Israel comes out of Egypt, that they would return in the fourth generation, right? About 400 years, right? They would come to where Abram is currently dwelling, the land of Canaan. He was called out of Mesopotamia into where? Right? Into a land he had never been, that his seed would inherit. Promised to his seed, right? He dwelled there too. Right, and he also he went into Egypt too, right? Again, nothing new under the sun, right? For the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full, right? So let's see what let's go back and finish looking at the iniquity of the Amorites, what they were doing in that land. All right, make sure that y'all like, sharing, and subscribing too, family. All right, make sure that y'all like, sharing, and subscribing. We're going to read a little bit more, and then we're going to get to the UN Council's finding on these matters of what the settler colony, aka the Israelis, are doing in the land of Israel right now. Where is that? Yeah. Which one I want? All right, let's continue here. All right, it says, you hated the people that lived in your holy land long ago. We know that they are the Amorites, the Amorites, which is the Canaanite tribe. All right, the people who lived in the holy land long ago, because they did horrible things, which there are currently horrible things going on now. Right? Let's see what's going on now, which is the same as what went on before. We're reading about what's going on before because that is the same things that are going on now. All right. It says, what are they doing in the land? Let's find out. Use your wisdom, family, and understanding. They practice magic and conduct unholy worships, gay parades, and the sort, besides the other debauchery that goes on in a society that's over 90% secular. They're not keeping Torah. Okay? What else they do? They killed children without mercy and ate the flesh and blood of human beings. This is what they're doing. They're cannibals. They're drinking human blood and ritualistic practices over there. Absolutely they are. And we see that they are, the scripture says they killed children. They are absolutely unaliving children there. And we see that. The UN report that we're about to take a look at that corroborates that fact. Again, as the scripture said, they're not new under the sun. They were intentioned into to secret rituals. They were initiated into secret rituals. Secret rituals, as they called it, the Illuminati. Huh? All right. Watch this. In which parents murder their own defenseless children. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? We've heard this one before. Parents who unalive their defenseless children in secret rituals. Let's see. One more verse. It was your will for our ancestors to destroy this people. There's nothing new under the sun. That's all we're going to say about that for any of the scoffers. All right. Y'all see that? Now, let's get, not my words, let's get the UN's, the United Nations report on what the settler colony, aka the Israelis, are doing currently in the land of Israel. Are they unaliving children, right? Which the Bible says that the Most High didn't like. That's why he had to get them, the old occupants of the Holy Land long ago, up out of there. Which is currently going on right now, but don't take my word for it. All right, let me get this video for y'all so y'all can see this. My apologies to that family. 1 second. Gotta get this one. My Lord. My apologies. I should have already had this ready. I know they're gonna make me listen to another ad. 1 second, family. All right. I'm gonna play this one. I'm gonna start it from the beginning. All right, let me share my screen with your family so y'all can see this. I know y'all want to.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to start the press conference by announcing that today the Commission has released a 100-page report documenting violations and crimes committed by Israel against Palestinian children in the occupied Palestinian territory since 7th October 2023 until 31st March 2026. We just briefed member states this morning on the report's findings. The Commission's comprehensive report is unique, being the first specialized report on crimes and violations against Palestinian children in Palestine by a UN investigative body. The report draws partially.
So he said this is the first report on the matter. All right.
On earlier findings of the Commission, as published in previous reports, while incorporating newly collected evidence and investigated cases. The Commission found indisputable evidence with regards to the deliberate, targeted killing of Palestinian children, including since the October 2025 ceasefire, the use of torture, inhumane and degrading treatment, including use of sexual and gender-based violence against Palestinian children, as well as targeting of critical infrastructure essential to children such as orphanages, healthcare, and educational facilities. There has been
just brutal in every sense of the word as it pertains to how the settler colony, those people who currently dwell. And by the way, I'm going to quote it. I don't have to read it. We may go in and read it a little bit later. I'm going to quote it now. Well, like Christ said, man, that the land would be trodden down by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And that's currently what they're doing. They're trotting down the land. As we see, there's nothing new under the sun. We see what the Canaanites, in particular the Amorites, did. Right? Their iniquity, how it got full, it came to a head, to a fullness because of the things that they were doing in there. The witchcraft, the odious works, as it says in the KJV. All right? The secret rituals, the unaliving of children. As this man just said, 20,000, over 20,000, the United Nations found that they done. You think that blood's not on these people's hands? Absolutely. It is on their hands.
A widespread and systematic killing and harming of children between 7th October 2023 and 7th October 2025. We have witnessed more than 20,000 children who've been killed and more than 44,000 children who've been injured. Children constitute 30% of all those killed in OPT.
How do children in a supposed to be a war against Hamas, right? How do you kill 30,000 children, over 20,000 children, and injure over 40,000? Let's see that again.
And the 44,000 children who've been injured. Children constitute 30% of all those killed in OPT.
Children constitute, again, 30% of all those killed, and when a war is supposed to be against Hamas, not against the general population. I mean, it would seem, I'm speaking for myself, in my opinion, it would seem like this is targeted. The Most High does not like that. All right, he's keeping an eye. His eyes are on this. You best believe. Let's continue.
And the killing and injuring of children has been a continuing activity. Children are being killed mainly in two ways. One, through airstrikes using high-yield explosives with wide area effects. And second, using quadcopters, drones, and sniper rifles that specifically target and kill children to their
drones, so they know who they're targeting for the most part. And then you heard that sniper rifles, where they unalive children. This is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely. And you people over there, you settlers in the land of Israel, the Most High's pit, let's continue.
Head and upper body. There is also a severe orphan crisis.
Upper body, which is AKA, he's saying that they're taking basically from here on up. So those are mostly what you would call headshots. Disgusting.
With an estimated 58,554 children who lost one or both parents between 7th October 2023 and 7th October 2025. There has been a systematic disruption by Israel of the children's ability to learn, thereby sabotaging the intellectual and social foundations of the Palestinian society. The Commission's findings are that Israel targets children to weaken demographic vitality and deny.
Not my findings. They said that this is the UN's findings, family, that they target. They saying that this is done not by an accident, that this is done on purpose by the settled colony, aka the Israelis, in the land of Israel, right? Against the Palestinians in Gaza, which Gaza is a part of Israel, by the way, right? I'm not speaking in a political sense. I'm speaking in a spiritual sense right now, right? But as it stands right now, because the land has been parted, which is prophesied in the book of Joel, and Gaza, that portion of Israel, which is still the land, right? They're committing a genocide. Over 20,000 children unalived. And where's the outrage at? Imagine if that was the other way around. That there were 20,000 of the settler colonies' children who have been massacred. Can you imagine?
Deny the Palestinian people's right to self-determination. 97% of all schools have been destroyed. 95% of the universities have been affected in Gaza.
This is what you call systematic. All right? This is a systematic genocide. Some may call it the H word. Again, like, share, and subscribe. Fair use is just my thoughts and comments. I'm gonna give my comments on this video of these findings by the United Nations. All right, make sure that y'all tapping in, that y'all sharing. You sharing it on your socials, man, because again, this is a important lesson. In my opinion, and Lord willing, you care, and then you understand that this is prophetic too, which is going to ultimately get you Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you true Israelites, ultimately closer to where we want to be, right? Which is out of here, and back in what is rightfully been promised to us in the kingdom of our Father, right? So that this whole world can be at peace, and that all of these people can find the safety and salvation that they're looking for, all nations, right? Let's continue.
22 out of the 38 universities have been completely destroyed.
This is how much we pay 11.
We have found the use of starvation and imposition of conditions of life obstructing children's survival. As of 1st October 2025, there have been 151 children's deaths on account of malnutrition. We've also found that between October and December 2023, there have been at least more than 1,000 instances of children undergoing amputation of one or more limbs. Based on all the evidence gathered, the report makes legal findings and concludes that the Israeli authorities and the Israeli security forces have deliberately targeted and killed Palestinian children and destroyed their childhood.
Not my words, that's the UN's findings that the settler colony, the Israelis, the IDF, that they are intentionally targeting children to unalive them. And as this gentleman says, Mr. Moralahar says, I'm terrible with names, to destroy their childhood. Let's continue. Let's finish this up.
Israeli authorities and the Israeli security forces are responsible for crimes against humanity, including persecution and war crimes in the Gaza Strip and war crimes in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem.
And if you don't think that that's true, what this gentleman just said, that they're guilty of crimes against, as they would say, humanity, war crimes under the Geneva Convention and international law, right, where Bibi or Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal and is wanted. And that may be part of the reason why he's continuing this campaign and to be so vicious, because he has a lot of problems politically in his own country. All right. Again, make sure y'all like this video. Make sure y'all sharing it. Make sure y'all all subscribe, right? Let's continue.
The report released today further substantiates our finding on genocide. The protection, care, and survival of Palestinian children and pregnant women are inextricably linked to the Palestinian people's fundamental right to self-determination. As children...
Look, understand, family, that I wanted to play this so to double down on the point why the Most High is upset at what's going on, right? And for you to understand that he's keeping an eye on this. You may not think that it is important, but it is important. As we read in the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, we see what the old occupants did, you know what I mean? Those of other nations who have dwelled in the Most High's one pit, what they did and how the Most High did not like that, right? And how he used his people and other methods to eventually get them up out of there. All right. Let's continue. We may go back and finish reading that in Wisdom of Solomon 12 so you can see some of the methods the Most High used to get these heathens out. And then I'm going to show kind of what's going to happen to the current occupants of that land. Let's continue.
Represent the future bearers of their collective identity and resilience. By targeting children, Israel is eroding the foundational structure of Palestinian society, weakening the democratic vitality and overall capacity of the Palestinian people to sustain and exercise its right to determine its future as a people. Our report concludes that the settler violence in the West Bank functions as a means of implementing Israeli state policies, with both the state and violent settler groups working in collaboration towards the same strategic objective: unlawful territorial expansion. It also concludes that Hamas has repeatedly committed grave abuses against Palestinians in Gaza, using the cover of Israeli military offensives and the broader collapse of law and order to carry out campaigns of repression, torture, and unlawful killings of Palestinians. This was stated by us in our report, which we presented to the Human Rights Council on 15th June 2026. The report by the Board of Peace to the Security Council in May this year, pursuant to the Security Council Resolution 2803, claims that...
And you said that Hamas has, and these are fellow Palestinians, have conducted and committed the same type of atrocities. Remember, we were reading in the Wisdom of Solomon, what did it say? It said, in which parents unalive murder their own defenseless children. Again, the scriptures are speaking. There's nothing new under the sun. All right, let's continue.
the conditions for Palestinians in Gaza have improved. This contradicts the findings of this commission. The Israeli Prime Minister has been clear. Israel aims to seize at least 70% of the Gaza Strip in clear violation of the ceasefire agreement and international law. The reality is that Palestinians continue to be killed and harmed in Gaza, even after the ceasefire was announced in October last year. And the amount of humanitarian aid allowed into Gaza remains very much below the necessary levels needed. Lastly, the Commission condemns the severe mistreatment.
I mean, they're not even, I mean, it's just, as I was saying, it's just on all sides. You know, they're not allowing necessary supplies to get in there, right? The humanitarian aid, as they say. All right, let's continue. Finish
Of the flotilla activists detained by the Israeli forces. Such public...
Yeah, and what happened to the people on the flotilla? He's going to talk about it again briefly, but one of the individuals, I believe she was actually an American so-called white woman, Caucasian, and she talked about what the IDF did to her, how she was raped, sexually abused under the settler colony, and particularly with IDF forces. All right, let's continue.
Disregard of international law would support the findings of the Commission in previous reports that Palestinian detainees were severely mistreated, including tortured, raped, and sexually abused by Israeli forces. The Commission welcomes the opening of the judicial investigations in a number of countries about these events. We are grateful for the support expressed by many member states to the Commission's mandate and work, including during last week's Human Rights Council.
So we see, you know, let's rewind that and hear that one more time, and then we're going to read a few scriptures. All right.
Raped and sexually abused. Support the findings of the Commission in previous reports that Palestinian detainees were severely mistreated, including tortured, raped, and sexually abused by Israeli forces. The Commission welcomes the opening of the judicial investigation.
So they said that this was done, that they were sexually abused, tortured, unalived, raped by the IDF, Israeli Defense Force. All right, that's enough of that. I've got some scriptures on. I want to read real quick. So let's look at Luke 21 real quick. So this is Luke 21, verse 24, right? It says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, who? The children of Israel, the current, those who dwell in the land, and they shall be led away captive into all nations. We saw that happen, right? In Jerusalem, Zion, right? Most High, his loved city of all of the builded cities. We read that in 2nd Ezra chapter 5, right? Shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled, right? Hamashiach was not speaking out of his butt, so to speak. Many of the prophets prophesied this. Let's look at one of the prophets who talked about it real quick. All right, let's get Ezekiel chapter 36. All right. All right. Let's start at verse 1. Also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord power, because the enemy have said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are our possessions. See that? This is what the enemy said. Who are the enemies of the Most High? You can read about that in Psalm chapter 83. All the nations are the Most High's enemies, not my words. All right. It says, therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord power, because thou have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen. Right? And Christ wasn't just making that up. Right? Right? He's the same thing that the prophet, Most High Heavenly Father showed the prophet, the same thing hamashiach knew. Right? And you have taken up your lips, the lips of talkers, and are in infamy of my people. Just talking about bad about Israel, which is prevalent today, right? Still, right? As it says in Deuteronomy 28, a byword we are, right? People wandered and stared at, right? Absolutely, it's still happening today. This is what this is saying, all right? All right, let's look at that. Let me show y'all that real quick. Let's look at Bibles for this particular verse, right? And it says, "Therefore, Son of Man, give the mouths of Israel this message from the sovereign power, right? Most High. Your enemies have attacked you from all directions, making you the priority of many nations, right? And the object of much mocking and slander." See that? But the priority of many nations, because they were all confederate together to concoct this plan to keep this people down, right? Serving us misinformation, disinformation, concealing things, right? Doing things detrimental to our people. And the object of much mocking and slander. We're mocked and we're slandered, lied upon all the time. Oh, the black man is dangerous. The angry black woman. All of the stereotypes. Y'all see it? All right. And these scriptures are not prophetic. They are. You just have to, blessed is he that readeth. Family. Well, that's what we're here for, right? I'm going to continue to minister. And I know us brothers here at FOG are going to continue to minister. Right. So definitely support us, family. All right. Verse 4, it says, "Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the words of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God to the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys, to the desolate waste, and to the cities that are forsaken," right? Because Israel would be trodden down, because the people would be led away captive, right? And it would be trodden down by the Gentiles, right? It's desolate and wasted where we are not there. The wasted cities. That's why we see in Amos that the tabernacles of David have to be rebuilt, which have become a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about them. Absolutely, that's what this people has become. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, surely in the fire of my jealousy, I have spoken against the residue of the heathen, these other nations, the Goyim, right? And against all Dumia, this is the Greek word for Edom, right? Which have appointed my land into their possessions. We see who's done that, right? With all the joy of their heart, right? They did it joyfully. And this is not a new thing. You can see this in Psalms 137, right? Read that in your own time, family. I did talk about that in a recent lesson. With the spiteful mind to cast out a prayer. Exactly what they did. So he tells Ezekiel, "Prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains," right? The mountains being the government, right? "And to the hills," right? Like if you would say like the federal government and the state government, right? Are bigger countries and smaller countries, so to speak, too, right? To the rivers, to the hills, to the valleys, to everybody, right? So that y'all know, all you nations know this. That thus saith the Lord power. Behold, I've spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen. His people have. He ain't forgot that they bore the shame of the heathen. Watch this. It says, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, I have lifted up my hand. Surely the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame." They have to, because ye, O mountains of Israel, ye shall shoot forth your branches, ye shall yield your fruit, my people of Israel, for they are at hand to come. So this is a thing to come. Why? Because we see that they have been cast out, the land had been parted. They had took this land into their possession, these heathens, and particularly the Idumeans, the Edomites, right, with all the joy of their heart, right? But this is a time to come, right, when the outcasts of Israel will be gathered, when the elect are going to come back and reclaim their land, right? Let's look at one more text. Look at Isaiah 66 or is it 63? I want it. 63. I want Slovakia family. Isaiah 63. Right. And before we read Isaiah 63, let's get Hebrew. Right. All right. Hebrews, this is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16, right? And we're going to read the KJV and we'll look at a couple other translations, right? Because as we see, these are the ones who parted the land, right? Esau is Edom, right? You can see that in Genesis, I believe that's chapter 36, verse 1 through 3, right? Esau is Edom or Idumea. So let there be lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. So what does it mean for him to be a fornicator and profane? Let's try to get some more understanding when we look at other translations real quick, right? It says, make sure that no one is as immoral or godless like Esau, right? Look at another one. It says, see that no one is sexually immoral or godless as Esau. So he's sexually immoral and ungodly. That's why most of the people who live over there are secular. The vast majority, I think it's well over 90-something%, right? And we can see their sexual immorality stretching back to the time when the Ashkenazim was still dwelling in Europe, in particularly in Germany and Austria. They were the pioneers of the corn or the porn industry, okay? If you're not aware. All right, now let's go back to Isaiah chapter 63. Let's read that and then we're gonna finish up. Family, we're gonna look to see ultimately what's the Most High's judgment vis-a-vis his son, what he's gonna do. All right, because of what they've done, right? And this is his pit that he looks after. All right. And he cares about what happens here. All right. So this is the Most High's vengeance on the nations. All right. And what does it say? It says, who is this that cometh from Edom with dried garments from Basra? Right, coming from Edom, Idumea, right, Esau, right, the Edomites. This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak righteousness, mighty to save. Right, we know who that is. Right, wherefore art thou red in thine apparel? Why is your garment all red, bro? Excuse me. Why is your garment all red? And our garments like him that treadeth the wine fat. Right? The grapes, the grape juice, like you grinding up them grapes to make wine. Said like he was the one in there doing it himself. Right? He said, hamashiach said that I have trodden the wine press alone. Right? And of the people there are none with me. He did this by himself. He didn't have none of the people. To him, the gathering of the people. This is the elect of Israel. He didn't have none of them with them in this time when he went to get his ultimate vengeance on them that dwell in Edom because of what they've done. Right? He says, for I will tread them in mine anger, because he's angry about what they've done. The secret rituals, the blood drinking, the unaliving, the children, the child sacrifice. It all goes on there. The LGBT madness, those rituals. And I've trampled them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garment. That's why it looked like he was treading the wine fat alone. Right? And I will stain my remnant. He said, I'm going to stain my garment, man. I got to get back for what they're doing to Father's land. Right? He says, for the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of the Redeemer is come. Right? The Most High using his hamashiach to redeem his people and to get the vengeance, right, on them, not only for what they done, in particular to the children of Israel. We read about that in Ezekiel 36 also. But again, also for what these people who parted the land and took the land into the joy of the heart, what they done in the land, the odious works. And I looked, and there was none to help. And I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore, my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury is upheld. And I will tread down the people in mine anger and make them drunk in my fury. And I will bring down their strength to earth. He gonna humble you, the settler colony, you Israelis. Why do they need to be humble in particular, which is fascinating, and she's going to bring them down to earth? Why? Because they lifted up. They are the smallest population, but they had the most billionaires per capita. They waxed fat because of their love of money. That's why their ancient ancestors named their child Eliphaz, meaning gold is my God. See, they're godless. They worship the money, which leaves them susceptible to the left-hand side, which makes them the primary conduit for the adversary, aka Satan. With that, family, I'm going to close this lesson out. Lord willing, this has been edifying to you. Again, make sure you like, sharing, and subscribing. I'm going to throw this back up here one more time before we close out. If you enjoyed, you're looking for a place to build, to grow, to learn, to fellowship, brothers and sisters, chop it up with us here at firegodclassroom@gmail.com. Also, if you want to support the ministry, Cash App right here, which is Fire God Camp 12. Definitely appreciate everybody stopping through. All right. Appreciate you coming to chop it up with us in spirit and in truth, right? Because that's what the Most High, ultimately, that's what he's looking for. Those worshipers who want to worship him in spirit and in truth. Definitely much appreciated. Definitely make sure y'all still hit the like button, run them likes up. All right, run the hypers up if that's an option. All right, make sure y'all drop a comment for me. All right, I'll be your brother Azariah. This Fire God Ministries. Appreciate y'all coming through. We're gonna give all praise to the Most High. Y'all on the way out. All right, vis-a-vis the son of Mashiach. All right, and with that being said, peace and blessings. Shalom, family.
Another lacking, all black, don't draw attention, cause it's just not enough room in this small city. Cleaning crew is out to get you, can you dodge 50? 50-50 odds, hear the applause and the black ripping through the avenues in the parks full of guys chilling at the park, cause mama boyfriend Ron tripping, ripping through their hearts with what he doing after dark, and mama working late and she don't know cause they don't have the heart. It's safe to say in them shoes, they dark in them. Swim the shore before the whales and the sharks get them. So many bodies in the waters, you ain't gotta swim them. You on the shoulders of the fallen, trying to outlive them.